All right, Algebra 1, welcome back, guys. Here we go again. Another nice new video of notes here. So we are in Section 2, Chapter 6, Linear Equations in Slope-Intercept Format. So let's just jump right into it. All right, listen, we're going to have to remember how to create an equation from a graph. We did that in a prior section. We are still working on that. So if you didn't understand it the first time, you kind of get that second chance. You're going to find that this chapter does a little bit of that, all right, where you get exposed to it in one section, comes back again in another. Make sure by test time you are confident with everything you need to be confident for. So first thing, there you go. Find that y-intercept. All right, that's going to be first. And then we're counting up or down. And then we're going to hopefully move to the right. There's times when maybe you're moving to the left. But what should be easiest is find that y-intercept. And then if you want, you could even go to the point that's furthest to the left, count down or up, and that way then you're always counting to the right. But I'll show you how to do that in example 1. Okay, so that's a little bit of a review that we're going to cover in example 1. In example 2, we're going to be given a point. So that's x and y. All right, given a point. And then they're also going to give you the slope right here. That's your m value. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to need to solve for b. Okay, so plug in x, plug in y, plug in m, and then the only variable that's not solved for is b. And then once you have b, you go back to the beginning, and then you're going to write the whole equation in y equals mx plus b format. Okay, and I'll show you how to do that in example 2. And then the final one right here that you're going to see in example 3 is you're going to be given 2 points. All right, so when you're given 2 points, then you have to go back and remember this guy right here. That's the slope equation. All right, so you got the y2 that goes first minus the y1, all divided by x2 minus x1. That's going to give you your slope. Then once you have the slope, then this is key. Go ahead and use the first point, then use the slope right there, and do it just like you did in example 2. We're going to plug it back in. So follow along with me. Here we go in our example problems. All right. So let's take a look. Find the equation that makes this graph. So let's start first here. We are going to take a look at what our y-intercept is right down here. So let's count down. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that looks like it's at a -4. All right, so we're going to have y equals, leave some space for the slope, x minus 4 in there because we got that y-intercept of -4. Then let's count from this y-intercept right here all the way up to this point right here. Okay, so that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2 to the right. So that looks like it was 8 up over 2 to the right, but 8 over 2, that could be reduced. All right, so we're looking at y equals 4x minus 4. And that is the equation that you're going to get from this graph. Okay, so one more time. Step 1, we are counting, starting at the origin, counting down 4 times. So we got down here to -4. That's the y-intercept. That's what gave us our -4 right there. Then what I did is I was starting now here at the -4. And I counted up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Then 1, 2 to the right. And that got me all the way over to that next point, which was our rise 8 over 2 run. And then reduce that down to 4. All right, so that's how I got that equation right there. All right, let's move into example 2. So find the equation that passes through this point right here and has a slope right there. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to want is we have our x value, we have our y value, we have our m value. So plug all of that into the slope-intercept equation. All right, so we have 3 equals 2 multiplied by 6 plus b. Okay, so that is what we're setting it up, and we need to solve for b. So let's move that over. We're now having 3 equals 12 plus b. That means that b equals -9. So once we have b, now we need to set the equation up. Y equals mx plus b. So go back now, y equals, remember m was 2x, and then we got our b value minus 9. That's what we're looking for here. So the final answer is actually the equation y equals 2x minus 9, but you have to use the point because there's your x and y, and you have to use the slope, there's your m, to solve for b. All right, let's do the next example problem right here. But for this one, we don't know the slope. So step 1 is use the slope equation. Then, after you have slope, use the first point. So here is x1, here's y1, here's x2, here's y2. So let's set this equation up. We have 3 minus 8 divided by 8 minus a -2. And it's important that you notice that minus sign is part of the equation, and that -2 came from the point. So you need to incorporate both negative signs. So what we're looking at here is 3 minus 8, giving us a -5 over 8 minus a -2 is the equivalent of just saying 8 plus 2, which is 10. Reduce this down to a -1/2. So this is our m value right here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to use this first point. There's our x, there's our y. Plug it into the slope-intercept equation. 8 equals -1/2 times -2. I'm going to put this over 1. That way it's an easy straight across multiplying with fractions, plus b. All right, so this is kind of nice because a -1/2 times a -2, everything basically crosses itself out, and you're actually just left with 1. They were both negatives. They're actually reciprocals of each other, so they just left with 1. So in this case, that means that b equals 7. So we need that. And now we have our slope right there. So let's put this back into the equation of y equals -1/2 x plus 7. And there is our final answer for example 3. Okay, so please go back through, watch the video, or at least parts of it again if you found any of this confusing. Come to class with questions, and I will help all the way to the end. All right, good job, guys. We'll see you in the next one.